Welcome back to the Filthy Red Podcast. Today is brought to you by Mountain Dew. Get your dew on. I'm partnered here today with my co-host Dalton Sim. Tell us about yourself, Dalton.
Hello, folks. I'm a young man. As you can see, I'm not the tallest guy or thinnest, but I'm enjoying my time here. So back to you, Steven.
Thank you, Dalton. Today we have a guest, Arthur Morgan from the Civil War. We're going to have him talk about his life in the past and the Civil War. So tell us about yourself, Arthur.
Yeah, I'm about 174 years old. I was serving the Civil War for the Michigan Regiment. Just kidding, it was the Pennsylvania Regiment, because I grew up in Pennsylvania. Then I moved to Michigan after the Civil War. But do you guys have any questions for me here today?
Well, when you first joined the Civil War, what was your age?
My age, I think I was like 16, I think. I think it was about 16, that's right, yeah, yeah, that's it.
All right. So obviously you were not completely mature. Did you have any behaviors that shouldn't have been happening in the Civil War? As of course you know that teenagers do dumb things.
I was sort of too busy to be having bad behaviors and such. All that we did was back then we did drink a lot, but that was sort of just to soothe our nerves because of everything that we had to go through in a day. It was pretty rough times back then,
I see. So your family, did they agree on the government wanting you to go in the Civil War, help out, fight? Did they agree with that?
They sort of called me irresponsible because before I got into the war, I was not a good child. I was an extremely bad child and caused ruckus and such. But then I was like, I'm going to the war, and they're like, blah, 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 you shouldn't go, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And I just said, you know what, you guys call me irresponsible. I'm going to show you what irresponsible is. And I went and I joined the military.
Oh, no.
Did you live in a big house with your family?
No, we were poor. We were very poor. We lived in, nowadays it'd probably be called it'd be the same thing living in a pop-up tent.
So tell us about your meal that you ate every day.
Well, we grew up on, my dad had a few chickens, and we'd pretty much eat eggs all day.
Eggs?
Yeah.
Oh, it boosts the protein pretty good, Oh, that, a lot of protein in eggs.
Yeah.
Were you a skinny boy? Were you
Yeah.
thick, You were fatter?
I was, just like a mediocre, I was pretty strong because I grew up on the farm and I did all that good stuff, and I dealing with the cows and the horses and such. With my neighbors owned, all that we really had was chickens, but, yeah.
Yeah, obviously you probably didn't really care about the law, so you probably did, illegal type things, or no? Was you a good kid, what they say?
Yeah, I did some illegal stuff back then. It was rough times back then, we didn't have TV, phones and such, so we couldn't really do bad. We couldn't call people stupid over the internet. We had to walk up in their face and call them stupid, and they'd probably get punched. So we got a lot of fist fights back then,
Well,
So who was your leader that led you through the wars and the battles?
Well, it all started out with General McLean, which he was a horrible general. We sat in our butts for about 2 years. Then we went to Gettysburg. I went over to Gettysburg with General
Lee?
No, it wasn't General Lee. It started with an M.
Meade?
General Meade. Yeah, that would be the one. He was a good man. He fought us through that victory. He was a smart man, too,
Do you just not have a lot of memory of what happened back then, or you just try to forget it all because it was a hard time?
I've been trying to forget it all ever since I was involved in it, because I don't like thinking back to all my friends and my loved ones, The PTSD really gets to me sometimes. It hurts sometimes.
Okay,
it really does bad things to
Do you
me.
remember some of your friends and all of them, their names and stuff?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Yeah, did you have any friends that you were close relations with? Best friends? Alright, Arthur, it's
Jerry.
alright. I don't want you going into an episode right
Jerry. I like Jerry, man.
now. Any other friends?
Yeah, I had a good friend. His name was, His name was, I think it was Jiminy Cricket. He was a good friend of mine. He's still alive, I think, somewhere. We go trapping all the time. He's an awesome guy,
Yeah, that's
Extremely smart man, Extremely smart. Doesn't have a house, but he's extremely smart.
Yeah. Kind of like one of those things that they were a little unfortunate with their bringing up.
Yes.
So,
He suffered from severe PTSD. I mean, he's worse than mine. He starts screaming for random reasons about every 5 minutes.
man, it's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah. I've been, ever since I was down here the first time, you guys should check that out, because that was pretty fun. I got help like he told me to, and I've started to calm down from my PTSD attacks and such.
That's good. That's very good. Alright, so this brings us into our sponsor, Mossberg Gunpowder. Arthur used this in his coffee because, coffee beans weren't really one of their hot topics that they'd want every time in the war. So tell us about that, Arthur.
We wish we had coffee beans, but we didn't really get them because the government was too poor or too busy dealing with them darn rebels. Nobody liked them rebs. So we put a little bit of that Mossberg gunpowder in our muck water, and we light it up, and it's nice warm, and it tastes just like coffee. Get your lungs going.
Did it ever have any health side effects to it?
Yeah, as I told you guys last time, I puke 5 times a day. It sucks, but you gotta deal with it sometimes when you're old like me.
So, did you ever get injured in any of the battles or no?
Yep. We've got ambush going right down a valley in I believe it was Northern Virginia. Me and my sergeant were walking up front. I was talking to him, and all of a sudden I heard a loud bang. I'm like, whoa! In my left arm, it went flying. And I was like, oh my God, Johnny. My sergeant grabbed me and he threw me to the ground. And I can clearly see it now. Oh no, why do you guys ask me about this?
No.
Man,
You're all right now. Come on now.
Oh, PTSD. Yeah. Just like they told me in therapy.
Count to 10. You know what they say.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So, do you remember any of the doctors that helped you, or?
Yeah, there was a Red Cross man. He walked up and he gave me some help. Dr. Macis, I believe it was. After I got my arm shot off, there was a little bit of extra flab left that he had to chop off, and it hurt, but I got some penicillin in my veins that the government gave us, and it helped a lot. We were lucky to have penicillin back then, or else a lot of men would have died.
Yeah.
So, were you like everyone else where you had to smoke a little, to make you feel better?
During the war, I did smoke some cigarettes, but I don't like to get into that because I know smoking cigarettes is bad and it ruined my lungs and such.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, never do any type of drug or cigarette, please.
You're hearing from many experience. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
That brings us to our commercial, Old Spice. If your grandfather hadn't worn it, you wouldn't exist.
Yep. I wore that good old stuff right after the Civil War. It was it worked well. Smelled real nice. All the ladies loved it. Yeah, I had a lot of girlfriends back in the day, if y'all didn't know. Pretty proud of it.
Alright, so how many girlfriends do you actually have during this time period?
Right after the Civil War, I had about too many to count. I'd have to say it was a lot. It was all across the United States. I was a cool dude back then, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, all the ladies loved me. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, probably thanks to that Old Spice.
It is thanks to that Old Spice.
Personally, I wear it every day. I think I get a lot of compliments, but.
Yep.
There could be many things, you know what they say.
I know what they say. I had about 12 kids on the way to Michigan, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can completely understand. Now, what was it like after the Civil War?
It was a rough time trying to be friends with the people from the South. They didn't quite like us much because, we just shot a lot of them, and, they were sort of mad at us and all, but...
Mm-hmm.
They had to get used to it. They sort of started it, if you're asking me, but you know what they say.
Yeah, the things they did should never ever have happened in the...
You can't just whip a man and then expect him to work for you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, it's not right now.
Now, when you moved to Michigan, what was the hardest thing moving here? Did you have to evolve with the surroundings around you, you know.
I was still suffering from some slight PTSD, so thunderstorms would really get to me, and they still do sometimes. Luckily, it's not raining out and thundering today because you'd be seeing me crying. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
And, Michigan, where I grew up, you know, I sort of grew up near a city, and I'm out here in Peck now, and we're sort of like in the middle of nowhere, but I also had to get used to the automobiles nowadays because I ride my horse everywhere, and everybody's driving around their cars and such, and I don't like that much.
Yeah, the cars with the technology nowadays we have, it's kind of scary thinking that cars can run off just simple electricity, you know.
Yes. Teslas are trash, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, but also I think it's a pretty cool thing that we can run things off in electricity that like won't create as much pollution. Although
pollution's fake.
Okay, that could be easily like disagreeable, you know what they say. But although the Tesla power spots where they charge are powered by diesel engines. So
Tesla is ran by the government, son. The Earth is flat. Listen, if the Earth is round, why isn't the water pouring out of the bottom?
I don't know, sir.
Kids nowadays, they don't understand that. Everything we do is fake. That's why I don't like the government no more. I fought for them back in the Civil War, and they were good back then. Nowadays, they just telling us lies every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yep. All right. Well, that concludes our podcast. I'd like to thank Dalton and Arthur for being here. Dalton's out on a break right now, so Arthur, thank you for being here, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Yep. See, I'll be back.